Hello and welcome back to part 2 and the conclusion of this replay between myself, Crimson, and Hedge here on Metalopolis. Quick recap, I've been basically morphing units in the back of his base. I've got pretty good, I'm actually doing a drone transfer into my secondary expansion. He's got a secondary expansion near mine, so I obviously was not aware of that. I'm not sure. I am warping in more units. I still don't think he knows about that just yet, which could be a huge problem. He's getting Vikings, excuse me, which I'm not quite sure why. Maybe he thought I was going air, where we pretty much haven't been attacking each other at all during this game. So usually if you don't see your opponent attacking you, uh, I'd say 7 times out of 10 they and he killed my observer there, by the way, because of that raven. But this Viking is actually going to see my zealot. Yeah, but like I was trying to say before, um, what was I trying to say before? 7 times out of 10, uh, if your opponent has not attacked you yet, they're usually trying to tech up to something uh, ridiculously high. Um, So he probably thinks I'm like massing void rays or something. Clearly not the case here. Um, Taking a look at my saturation at my secondary, it's not so good. So he's moving his forces over now that he knows that I have those guys back there, and those guys are just going to get mauled. I really don't have too much of a chance. I'm warping in. Like I said, stalkers are my staple. These are my units. I love them. I do have zealot charge for my zealots, but that raven is going to bite the dust. And as you can see, marauders pretty much own uh, stalkers if the numbers are in his favor. So I have one immortal now with several stalkers and about, I think that says 7 zealots, 10 stalkers, 2 immortals. I think that's what that says. I can't see it. He does have 2 tanks, which I was worried about earlier in the game. Um, and my observer obviously confirmed those worries, and I believe that's why I got the immortals. Immortals are really good against tanks. They're also pretty good at killing off marauders. And I am increasing the speed of this game because it was a little bit longer of a game with us basically doing nothing. It's a rather boring game so far, huh? Oh, look, the good old 6 warp gate technology. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely just trying to emphasize warp gates, but he is getting banshees. So he obviously went with the air tech while I'm still going ground. Now, normally most people would actually fear that, like looking back at the replay going, I don't have any air, so I've lost control of the air. But in this situation, I'm not worried because, yeah, Vikings are, they can do some pretty interesting things, but honestly, stalkers rape both Vikings. What the hell am I doing? What is this? What am I doing? I have no idea what I just did. I think I was trying to back it up or something. But again, stalkers pretty much own all the air units that Terran can throw at you. Now here's an interesting thing. He's doing a drop, I believe, behind my base. So he noticed that I did a drop on him, so now he wants to do a drop on me. Fair enough. But I have the pylon there, so I do realize, oh, there he is. See, I put the pylon there for detection, and now he has to kill that pylon. He's going to kill this pylon. He's not moving his forces. He's stimming. Still not moving them. Now he's moving them. Okay. Now I'm moving all these units back up my ramp. I have to try and fend this off as best as I can. He killed off something there. I'm not quite sure if it was another pylon. I think he only sniped all my pylons. But I do have blink for my stalkers, if you did not notice. So that will help. But look at this, the sheer numbers of my units comparatively to his. That drop failed miserably because of that. But, if it was just stalkers versus marauders, could have been a much different story. But I did have the Immortals. I have 3 Immortals. I have like 15 or so Stalkers. And a pretty healthy number of Zealots as well. Zealots do pretty decent against Marauders too, if they're not trying to kite them, and there's no concussive shell. But now 3 Banshees, he's trying to get an expansion up here. And it looks like he shall succeed, but that is one hell of a wall off. Did you see how many supply depots he had? Jeez, I wish I could rewind this, but I can't. So, in come these Banshees. I cannot see them. So this is a huge problem. Yeah, my observer's over here. I'm like, oh, crap. My observer is way the hell out of position. So now I'm just trying to move my observer. He's moving his Banshees out, knowing that I don't have an observer, but I'm now going to be able to snipe these out. Now, if I was the Terran player there, I wouldn't have even attacked my force. I would have gone in for the kill on my main. I have no detection whatsoever. Kill me off. That was his mistake, but he, again, early in the game, a lot of people are still learning how things work, how things move. So this was, he now has a Thor. I'm sure everyone's like, ooh, a Thor. Not that you don't see those anymore. It was funny because during the beta, you rarely ever saw them. The only units that Terrans would use were Marauders. It's like Day 9 once said, what was it? Oh, I've never seen a Marauder before. I will make 100 of those. And only that for the entirety of my beta career. Not that a beta career is very long, but still. That is a lot of Stalkers. That is a lot of Stalkers. Now, this was interesting. Now, I know I'm going to back this up. So, he's building up, his base here, and I'm just like, not even paying attention. I said, I'm going to expand while I'm attacking. Generally, good idea to do that. He's got a command center right there. So, obviously, I'm not paying attention. I throw down 2 geysers and a pylon. Interesting. So now I'm moving out. I still don't know what's going on up there, and I'm just like, what? So actually, I'm going to respond to this. This is going to be huge. I think. I'm trying to remember what exactly happens to this command center. I'm going to speed it up, apparently, and then slow it back down. So my Stalkers see all these retreating SCVs. Now here's a huge problem. I wish I could pause it, but I can't. The biggest problem about this is he's now showing me that he has another expansion. Now he is going to go for another drop, I think. Maybe not. And I'm going to be able to snipe all of these supply depots, putting him in the red. I'm going to blink up onto the high ground. And I'm just going to snipe out this expansion. He's trying to get as much money from it as possible, but these Marauders in the back here, sure, they'll deal pretty significant damage. Or they do deal pretty significant damage, but with Stim and the amount of forces that I have, there's really not much he can do. The thing about Stim is it's an interesting skill, because yes, it gives you attack speed bonus, but it takes away life. So you have to decide, is losing that 15 life, or is it 10 or 15? I can't remember. 10 or 15 life, is that worth it? With the amount of medevacs I have and the amount of forces he has. I think if he doesn't stim there, he might actually have taken out a lot more than I had. Or a lot more than he did take out, rather. So I am going to find this command center and snipe it out with all these Stalkers. So now he has got no expansion, and he loses 2 command centers virtually for nothing. All because what he should have done with those SCVs is move them into a different direction. Move them back to your main. That way, yes, you lose all those SCVs, but they don't find your expansion that's already up and running and fully saturated. Now he's in the red. He has to rebuild all these supply depots. Very bad. Very, very bad. But he's trying the Banshee tactic again, trying to snipe out my Nexus, and at this point, my main's completely mined out for the most part. Yes, there are some mineral nodes. Bad move on my part. I do believe he is going to get this Nexus. Stalker's just now getting... he does kill the Nexus off. Not that big of a deal, though, because my gas had just run out, and I wasn't mining at all at this point, because I was terrible at macro at this point. I'm still pretty bad at it, as you'll see in future episodes or commentaries. Episodes. Wow, interesting. Um, like this is some cartoon or something. So I'm still not moving out. All he has right now is that Thor, some Marines, some Marauders, 2 tanks. Nothing on the high ground though. He moved everything to the low ground. I want you to remember that because I now remember what I do here. This is interesting. He's moved everything to the low ground. I am getting hit by those tanks, but instead of running in and engaging him, well, now I'm running in and engaging him. I was trying to bait him out so I wouldn't be in the tank fire, but I'm going to decimate all of those units, and they're going to blink onto the high ground because they have the observer. Taking out his tank, taking out his bunker, taking out his Viking, and at this point there's really nothing he can do. That is just too many stalkers. He is going to give me the game with the GG, and if I don't find that expansion, if he doesn't allow me to find that expansion, and he could have expanded there too, that would have helped him, I think, with a planetary fortress. This game could have been different if I hadn't found that expansion. But I hope you all enjoyed. This again was one of the earlier games, and I hope that I can bring interesting commentaries in the near future. Um, and yeah, that's about it. So again, hope you all enjoyed. Take care now.